Good afternoon. It's a privilege to be here. I don't know if you can hear me well. Perfect, super good. So why the team? Because today I would like to talk about the rise of machines, so AI. And one of the things that I'm going to be trying to cover today is a story that is quite different than the hype that we're all talking about. So when something is unknown, we get scared of it because it's a natural human behavior. Yeah? It's unknown. That's one of the reasons why we go back and really enjoy all the old memories, because we know it already. And the thing about the AI is that it's scary, is the search landscape is shifting. But in any kind of shifts, there's an unbundling, and that unbundling creates opportunities. So this is what I would like to try to cover today. First, I'm going to talk about how Google has shifted from providing links to answers, and then I will be explaining how I created the Growth Playbook that helped many of my clients. So what does the great unbundling says here? That the search landscape is obviously shifting, and it definitely is not what it used to be. If we can make an analogy, Google used to be a librarian of links. It used to provide us 10 blue links, and we got to find our own answer by going through these links, doing our own research, our own job. And now it's evolving into providing us an answer. So, do you remember this? Used to be, when I joined Google, it used to be something like that. So basically, these 10 years for almost 2 decades, that's the main business model, one of the biggest business models that's been invented on internet. And it is basically saying just 10 blue links. And now Google has evolved into becoming an answer engine. So you get to see how the information is being presented, how the information is being synthesized. So it's not just like here purely some links for you to click, but it's more the synthetic information that is even having a conversation with you. So if you like to go discover, there's a long conversation you can have with AI mode, not just with the AI overviews. But then there's a question. We can all get caught up in this fear, in this scary thing that is my website going to be replaced by all these answers? Is it? That's the hype. I'm losing the traffic. This huge unbundling is happening. I think this is this place where we need to stop and think how we can separate the hype from the reality. So let's do the reality check. This information belongs to one of my clients that generates more than 15 million clicks a month, and it's basically mostly focusing on informational queries at the top of the funnel, where the ICP is here to get more of the awareness about the solutions they provide. As you can see, Google still, at this time, this information belongs to the timeline between July and September 2025. And 99.7% of the traffic comes from there. Well, I'm not showing, of course, year over year. You will see it now. It is going down. It is true. But we'll come to that. So I just want this to be, processed by you, this information. Yes, there's a hype. AI taking over everything. We're irrelevant. The websites, all the trash. This is what the hype says. But I'll say there is definitely an important trend. The search landscape has been shifting as it had never been. But let's look at the reality. And yet another important thing. One of the Google's biggest inventions to catch up with all the LLMs is the AI overviews. So also Sundar has recently been talking about that. It's going to be the main place where they play the AI game, where they play the LLMs, catching up with ChatGPT basically. Not the AI mode. AI mode is like taking whatever works in AIO and then getting normalized in there. So this is one metric that I use with most of my clients, I mean all of them, which I'm trying to understand the AI overviews coverage. What does coverage mean here? These are all the queries, like I'm looking at a sample of course, this is not just all the queries I get from Search Console, but these are the queries that represents more than 90% of my traffic. And then I get these queries and I check whether these queries triggers AI overviews. So basically, I've been looking into this since it was a hype even. And you can see the data in September 2024. AI overviews coverage was like less than 20%. I remember all these calls that I have with these clients. I kept telling them, it is an important thing, it's coming up, but let's not spend our time to create a strategy to touch upon this trend for a very long time. But then we decided, okay, when it was 30%, we were like, all right, 2025, we're totally focusing on AI overviews. We're trying to understand how we show up in there and so on. And then you can see the trend. It comes to 80% now. 80% of the traffic, 80% of the queries that provides us 90% of our traffic has AI overviews. What happened? Did we lose 80% traffic? We did not. As you can see, year over year, growth trends are going down, but are they concerning? Well, we'll come to that too. As you can see, one of the top-notch sites, I don't know if you have ever used it, Flow Health. Have you heard that? Flow Health is the biggest pregnancy tracker app, and it's also, you can track your ovulation and periods and so on. It's the biggest in the world. And they approximately, on estimate, get 1.5% of their traffic through LLMs combined all together. And the third one is my client, it's 0.5%. The CEO keeps asking me, I heard that in one podcast with this guy from New York City, it's Walmart is getting 20% of its traffic, why don't I get my 20%? Because Walmart doesn't get its 20% of its traffic from LLMs first, and the second, that is the reality. So you gotta accept the reality, separate from hype. Hype says, oh, everything LLM, but look at the reality. Go to the first principles. Another one, well, this is, I kind of put it there just to make fun, because to be honest, this is the real numbers as well. Same numbers from July to September 2025 for that client that I mentioned, like 15 millions a month traffic. As you can see, 99% in that period came from Google. Altogether, LLMs, if you sum them up, they bring less traffic than DuckDuckGo. So should I have a specific DuckDuckGo strategy now? Should I buy all these $200 tools and hire someone just for Geo, AO, AOE, whatever it is? No. Then hire someone for DuckDuckGo optimization if that's that critical. Anyways, going back to the story. This is like the year of I call the pruning. What does that mean? Obviously, you're going to lose traffic. You have been losing traffic. That doesn't make your website irrelevant. It's not going to be replaced by AI because you're basically losing the traffic that was never important, like never really the traffic that you wanted. I've been judging in these search awards for God knows 10 years or something, and I get to see a lot of entries, and sometimes I see websites like huge bank, huge corporations creating pages that just to catch the trends like the best fruits to eat in summer. It's a bank that is generating this kind of content. So do you really need that traffic? Does that bring you anything in the bottom line? Do you generate revenue out of it? Or any trigger to go to the journey of the revenue? I do not think so. One of the things that I want to show you is, again, this AI overviews coverage. As you can see, this coverage is this time is trying to reflect the traffic. Obviously, it's not, as Aleda was mentioning, it's not the first-hand data, but this is a pretty good estimation. It's not whatever AI-generated estimation. This is basic calculations with math formula. You can calculate this. So with 80-90% confidence, it basically says world's biggest informational sites, such as Healthline, Investopedia. I believe you all know Healthline and Investopedia. So they get like 50% of the traffic from the queries that are triggering AI overviews, and most probably people are spending some time in AI overviews. Look at the other ones. The ones that are generating billions by selling products and services. Amazon, Etsy, Walmart, 4-6%. Would you create a strategy for that? Yeah, like 6% of 1 billion is strategy worth money. But still, like, would you close down your operations and just do geography, whatever it is called? So the truth is, you can separate it from the hype. The truth says, this is not the traffic you should be chasing. Here's another example. This is from one of my B2B clients. They are selling services. It's a SaaS business, and their annual contract value, like on average with their clients, is around $200,000. So if someone comes through the website, they leave you $200,000 for a year. Do you think that we get them through whatever blog posts and articles? We write them, of course, for other reasons. We get 20 million page views, but how many demos are being booked? 26. If you do the calculation, the percentage is 0.0000013%. So 0%. Don't. And what is critical? Homepage and the features like our services, landing pages. They are the ones with minimal impressions, bringing lots of bookings. So yeah, you can think of it as like someone will get to see you through the article and then will go to homepage or check your so many things. But basically, you get to convert them in your homepage and landing pages. So this is not the traffic you should be chasing. And that's why AI is not a replacement. AI is a resegmentation of the user intent. What does that mean? Here is a query. I'm asking, like having a chat with GPT saying, what's the best management tool for a small team? And so, yeah, I'm very specific, yeah? And it says, Trello, Asana, Monday. Do you think based on that, I will read this and then I will buy Asana? Do you think this is how I'm going to decide it? No. Obviously, I'm going to go to Asana's website. Obviously, I'm going to check Asana's pricing page, try to understand their user testimonials. But I'm not going to be reading another whatever article from Asana. What AI is doing is, you don't need to spend all the time in informational queries anymore that much. It's summarizing up things. It's enhancing your life. Like, do we all clean the dishes by hand? No, we put them in the dishwasher. It's like this, but we still need the dishes, we still eat and so on. Based on that information, I created a playbook. This is what I do with my clients. And this is so far what has worked with me. The fundamental of this playbook is, it says we need to become the source that AI cites. It's not important how much traffic, whatever. So we just need to be becoming the authority that LLMs cite back to us. And there are there are 3 steps, like the 3 pillars of this new Growth Playbook. First one, you gotta measure your digital footprint. This is not about counting your traffic or something, whatever. This is to understand how you are being presented. I'm not sure if you can see it, because I can't see very well, but basically, here, I'm searching for the best EAP alternatives. EAP means Employee Assistance Program. This is like $50 billion industry. It's about mental health of your employees and so on. So basically, EAP in almost every company, when they are big enough, they kind of have EAPs. It's kind of like compulsory. If someone is having like a personal issue, that you can just call these lines and stuff. Anyway, so it's very important to be ranking here. And when you ask this question, it pops up Lyra Health, Modern Health, Spring Health. These are all multi-billion-dollar companies, $6, $10 billion companies. Then you get to see Meditopia. It's a small company. It's a Series A startup with 50 plus people working in there. Uncomparable, but Google cites into it. And not just Google. We also get to be cited by ChatGPT when you ask for what are the best EAP. This is one of the top keywords, best EAP alternatives. If you are optimizing based on keywords, this is it. So this is the first thing. You need to understand how you are being seen in the critical keywords. Where does it come from? And all these things. And the example comes from a tool that I've been developing for a while, Maxeo. So this is an AI search analytics tool that I'm developing with my co-founder in New York City. And what we do is we are yet another one of these 45 tools. It's a red ocean now. You might probably know Profound, Scrunch, and so on. We're one of them. Basically, you need to understand the share of voice. Like you need to get your brand sentiment as well. But before that, what's the frequency? How many times your brand was mentioned for the prompts that are critical? So we're talking about the AI search here. We're not just talking about the keywords only, but it goes back to kind of keywords too. So it's the same mentality. Instead of focusing on the traffic, ranking traffic, focus on the brand mentions, focus on how your brand is being represented in all LLMs, including Google's AI overviews and AI mode if it's in the US. So my second pillar is focusing on BOFU. So like bottom of the funnel is the critical part of a user search journey, not the top of the funnel and the awareness only. It's important that you focus on the consideration and the decision parts. What does that mean? That means most probably all these factual queries are going to lead to zero-click searches, or like AI answers it much better than my whatever blog post that will steal your 7 minutes of your precious life. If you look at this, like in 30 seconds, you will understand. I'm looking for what are the benefits of task management tools? And it says, well, they increase your productivity, they centralize your task information, and so on, and so on, and so on. Do you think I will make millions of dollars from here? Of course not. What do the billion-dollar giants do? There's a lesson here. Notion, Atlassian. Atlassian has the tool called Trello. Notion, they are gigantic companies. And look at their strategy. When you search Notion versus Trello, AI Overviews is explaining it. It says Notion is powerful, all in one. Trello is user-friendly, it's easy. Basically, it says if you're small, go for Trello. If you're gigantic, go for Notion. And if you need data, documentation and so on. This is the critical part. They got the AI Overviews. Google is citing the information from Notion's and Atlassian's website, where they created comparison pages. Stop doing this like whatever blog pages that focuses on where, what, how kind of question. Create comparison pages, create client testimonials, create case study pages, create the pages that will push people to convert, make them buy your product or services. And last but not least, step of my growth playbook is focusing on the breadth, going deep in one thing instead of trying to cover everything. Well, if you're trying to do everything, you will probably achieve nothing. That's how life in general works. If you try to be good at everything, you will be totally terrible at all the things you try. But if you do one thing very well, look what it creates. As I'm proudly showing this, Meditopia is a super small company compared to the others. What you see here. But LLMs do not cite just the big ones. They do not go check Crunchbase and what is the valuation of the company? Lyra Health, $10 billion. I'm gonna cite to Lyra Health whatever they say because it's the giant. Well, this highest paid person's opinion doesn't work in AI search. AI search works in a way that you become authority, then AI will listen to you. How do you be authority? This is exactly the big question. How to become the authority? You need to chase, like this is the entire playbook. The whole goal should be to be cited, regardless of trying to get traffic. If you focus on that, you will fail. As you can see, almost 20% of the mentions in all the critical keywords here, which includes AI overviews and LLMs, were coming to Meditopia. Because we have created these, everything related to employer assistant program information. We didn't just create a bunch of articles. We have transformed our landing pages based on what the ICP wants, and we have changed the homepage design. Then we have also transformed the navigation and everything. So basically, we have done a lot of investment, not just a bunch of AI-generated content pieces. This is a real job, and then it brings all these results. One last information that I want to show, which is, again, providing the same example, best EAP providers. It is citing back to, I'm sorry, I forgot to unblock this, but it's basically these 2 pages are from Meditopia, as you can see from the hero images here of these articles. So these are both articles written, one in early last year and then March this year, providing top, like we created this listicles that is explaining all the EAPs. No one was doing it. So we decided to do it. When we did it, of course, we mentioned about ourselves too, but by being very fair to others. And what happened? All the billion-dollar companies are listed here based on how we mentioned them. In ChatGPT, it works even better. We're getting mentioned too. In AI overviews, every now and then, we don't. So that's where I focus on, getting the mentions. The one caveat of this is that you might be saying, all right, you present this as facts and everything, but where is this like, how are we going to track this? Well, you're going to track this with these tools like AI search analytics tools, like Maxeo, and then you will have to triangulate the data because there is no first-party data. So you can't, what I want to say the last is, the game has changed. SEO is not this game anymore, that you get to buy links and write articles and you will be ranking and generating money. That game has changed. Now you will need to do a lot of estimations in a very smart way to understand where your clients are and what they need. To recap, measure your digital footprint, not just the traffic. Double down on the BOFU, not like the TOFU, because this is where the real value is. And lastly, win the depth. Don't really focus on the breadth that much. So because becoming the authority in your field, in your niche, is the most important thing you can do. So thank you very much. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Murat. If that presentation didn't make you question your ways of approaching AI and your search strategy, I don't know what will.